Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to start just with a couple quick yes/no answers. And you can tell from my opening statement where I'm going with this. So do you commit to providing responses to the EPW committee in a timely manner?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Do you agree with the following statement made by Administrator Regan? It is an obligation of all of us as public servants to be as transparent as possible to this body and to the public.
Yes.
Thank you. And I appreciate that. So I'm going to go back to a couple letters that I wrote you recently in 2021. I was asking about the oversight on the renewable fuel standards. I wrote in March, in August, and again in October. I sent 3 separate letters. I did not get any response until December 14th, 2021, which was 9 months after the first letter, when you sent me 3 letter responses with virtually identical responses in each letter. In other words, they all had the same text. And I will put that, I ask unanimous consent to put the correspondence into the record. So do you believe the form letter responses that you provided to these 3 letters was timely and transparent?
I'd have to go back, Senator. To answer your question in a meaningful way, I would like to go back to the letters you sent and refresh my recollection on the letters that we sent back to you. I can assure you that I completely agree with you that transparency and clarity is essential. The role of the Office of Air and Radiation, and I would be happy to respond further after I get a look at the letters.
Okay, yeah, I would like that. I would offer my opinion that 9 months to answer a letter is not timely, and that since all 3 of them said exactly the same thing, I question how much time it took to really put those together and what kind of depth of looking at our congressional oversight. But we'll talk about that once you look at it in greater depth. So I want to talk to you about the Clean Power Plan. During your time in the Obama administration, you helped to write the Clean Power Plan, correct?
Correct.
Correct. In a 2019 op-ed, you wrote with Gina McCarthy and Janet McCabe that you called the Clean Power Plan a success. You advocated for using the Clean Air Act to shift electricity generation between different types of energy. You also stated in 2020 that the answer to what's the best system of emission reduction was, quote, the common sense answer is just move generation. So I would ask you, what is the legal authority that gives EPA the ability to require generation shifting that you're calling for?
Our belief at the time was that Section 111 provided us the legal authority to do that.
To call for generation shifting, or to call for lower emissions?
To call for lower emissions,
but not generation shifting.
I have to be careful in answering the question right now, Senator Capito, because as you know, that question is before the Supreme Court in, West Virginia versus EPA, and I think we're going to get the answer soon as to what the legal authority is. I don't want to say something that would complicate the government's position before the Supreme Court.
Okay. Isn't it clear that the best system of emission reduction applies at an individual stationary source? In other words, it is constrained by what an individual power plant can do within its fence line.
That's exactly the question in before the Supreme Court, and I think I would be doing a disservice to the government if I tried to answer the question answer your question while this issue is pending.
Okay, let me ask you a further question on that, and I think we talked about this in my office. Do you have Plan B already created in your office to react to what the potential of a Supreme Court decision might be?
We have identified different options for responding, depending on what the Supreme Court tells us the nature and contours of our authority are. We do 2 really important things. I think you would recognize as I describe them. We analyze options, trying to apply up-to-date data, and we engage in extensive outreach, not just with the utility sector, but with states, with our co-regulators, with utility regulators, with the system operators, and with frontline communities. That represents an enormous ingredient whenever we do a major rulemaking, particularly in the power sector.
All right,
and that's what we've been doing.
Thank you. I'm at my time, so I'll wait for the second round. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. And next would be, I think by WebEx, is be Senator Padilla. Senator Padilla, are you joining us by WebEx?
I am here, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Yeah,